Juliana Blaylock. I'm the site manager here at The Wall That Heals. The Wall That Heals is a 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, the wall which is behind me, and also a replica of the In Memory plaque. The In Memory program honors Vietnam veterans who came home and then later passed, and also a mobile education center. So it's a 53-foot trailer that hauls everything across the country, but then turns into a way to educate about the Vietnam War, the memorial, and that time period in our nation's history. So my job when I'm out here is the site manager. So it's to help teach the local volunteers, give tours to visitors, and to help visitors find names. We work with the local volunteers. We give them a nice tour Wednesday night to educate them on what they'll be doing when they volunteer out here. And then it's really the local volunteers that help us man this 24 hours a day the entire time we're here. We can't really do what we do without them coming out to not only help us throughout the week, but to help us set it up and take it down. Now we're going to be doing the most important part of what we're doing today. We're going to be placing all of the panels that have the 58,281 names on them who died for our country in Vietnam. So this is that part that I spoke of earlier that we're going to be extra careful, okay? This part, I know it's fun to race when we're hammering stakes and getting the frame up. This part is not a race. We need to do it carefully and we need to do it respectfully, okay? Now's the time, if you have anything that may scratch these panels, it needs to be covered up or taken off. I wear a watch, but my gloves cover it. Maybe untuck your shirt if you have a belt or keys on, tuck in a necklace, anything that may scratch this. These panels are made out of Avonite, which is a synthetic granite, similar to countertop. They can scratch and they can break. We do not have extra. So if one breaks, you're going to have a hole in your wall the whole week. And then I'll make you stand next to it and tell everyone why there's a hole. I won't do that, but there will be a hole. They're very expensive and they're not easy to replace. It takes a couple of weeks to make a single panel and to get it where we need it to be when it's happened in the past. So we're going to be very, very careful at this point. Other rules right now. You have to have gloves on. That's just, again, to prevent. Well, don't get them now. You'll have a chance to grab them when I'm done talking, okay? If you have your own, feel free to wear your own. If not, we have some provided here for you. they're going to be getting the panels out of where they're stored, bringing them out here and handing them off to those of you who will be carrying them to our teams out at the wall. When you get them to the team, they'll take it from you and place it. So those who are going to be walking, that's what you're going to be doing, okay? So you can form your line under the tents so you stay in the shade, and then just be here for when they bring them out. Everyone remember which is east and west?
West is left.
Okay, so same thing. When they tell you they're handing you an east one, you're gonna go east, west when they tell you west, okay? We're gonna send them out in alternating order. And we're gonna start with the smallest ones and work our way in. The first couple that come out don't have names on them. So we'll hand those to one person. As soon as a panel has names on it, we will always have 2 people carrying it, 4 hands touching it while we're walking it, okay? There is no exception to that rule. I know the first ones, they're about this big. You could carry 100 of them, they're so light. You know, they weigh a pound each, but that's not what's important. We're gonna be respectful to those names on the wall, and we're gonna make sure that an accident doesn't happen here today. So we're gonna carry them with the names facing up. As they get larger and longer, they'll be about 7.5 feet towards the center and about 80 pounds. About halfway through, and I'll let you know when this happens, so don't worry about memorizing it, we're gonna switch how we carry them and how many people carry, okay? Eventually we'll turn them on their sides with the names facing out, and we'll have 3 people because they're about 8 feet long, so you'll need that, okay? But I'll let everyone know when that has to happen. But so for now, if it has names on it, 2 people, 4 hands, the names facing up to the heavens, okay? You'll walk out, you'll hand it to them, they'll get it placed in there, you'll come back, get back in line to take the next one. So we'll make sure we have everything covered that may scratch. We'll have gloves on, we'll carry the proper way. Again, this is not a race. If when we get to the heavy ones, you're not comfortable, no problem, don't carry. We have plenty of volunteers here today that we can get someone else in there. That's not a problem at all. Or be the 3rd person in the middle if you're having a little, you know, if it's a little too heavy for you. Also, there's plenty of other jobs that I can steal you and have you do. So if you're uncomfortable carrying the heavy ones, please let me know.
Just let me carry them. West.
Once they're in, they can slide, that's okay. Especially as they get more rectangular. People tend to want to put it on its corner and tip it in. No, no, no. That'll snap the corner.
Square.
So, yep, so put it in flat. And then if you need to maneuver it, you
Slide
can
it.
from there. And then you can slide it, yep. The other thing you need to watch for, when I lift this up, to put this one in, what happens with these?
Yeah, that could fall.
They could fall.
Yeah.
These smaller ones aren't going to, but as you get
But the
bigger,
bigger ones.
especially towards the center, you
Yeah.
have to watch that.
Watch that.
Someone's hand has to be. This first one has 3. The rest of them going in only have 2
2?
panels per
Okay.
top rail.
Okay.
Okay? So you're always going to watch these ones when you lift it up.
Right.
As you get these in, they will have spaces between a little bit between these. That's okay.
Okay.
Because we're not completely level, that's what happens. It has to
Right.
make up for that.
Okay.
But what we want to watch is at the end of a top rail, we never want this panel piece to be under this top rail,
Okay, so
or
okay.
this panel piece to be under this top rail. Because
Okay,
then we've got to
gotcha.
take it down. If this one's under here,
Right.
I have to lift this and this up
to get
to
that
get it
down.
down.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And again, there will be gaps between
Yeah.
in here and in there. That's fine. We just try to cheat them as much as we can.
Yeah.
So once all your panel pieces are in here, down as back far as you can get it.
Squeeze it nice and tight. And
Squeeze it
tighten
nice and
down.
tight. Tighten these wing nuts up. Use that rubber hammer, and you're gonna like this. It's gonna be as you twist at the same time.
Okay.
Okay? Because that will. You don't want to. I mean, they're not gonna. But just like I did.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to do some of these as you twist, and that'll give it that extra snugness to make sure when we get winds, nothing's happening. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right.
welcome to Townsend, and welcome to the Wall that Heals. It's been a long time to get it out here for our veterans, especially for our Vietnam veterans. The best thing I can say is that's the reason I'm in the VFW, as a Vietnam veteran. He took me aside and told me to never let happen to another generation of veterans what happened to the Vietnam veterans. He made me promise, and that's exactly what I've been doing. And even though he's gone, I still remember him. His name was Victor Kerouac, right here in Townsend, and it was an outstanding a mentor for me. So that's the best thing I can say. Thank you for joining us here in Townsend for this memorial and this memorable occasion.
Hi, I'm Joe Mazzola, the Veteran Service Officer at Townsend, Ashby, and Pepperell, and I'm here at the Vietnam Wall. And one of our 58,262 veterans died and gave their ultimate sacrifice in Vietnam or on the wall. And today we had a good turnout at the wall. We had a lot of people coming up, young people coming up asking questions about the wall. And as you look at the wall here, on the panels, there's a number on the panels. There's a number on the panels that says W9. In each section over there's a section. They all go. Each dot represents a section of 40 names, and the dots come down on the wall. And what it is that there's a diamond by each name on the wall, and the diamond represents that this person is a confirmed KIA in Vietnam. If the people see a cross on the wall, that is one of the over 1,000 still missing in Vietnam. And then when the remains come back from Vietnam, they confirm the death and they change the cross to a diamond. And so right now we have a very good turnout. We had our ceremony today, and they have a booth over at the far side of the field where a person can come in and look up their whatever person they're looking at for the veteran who is on the wall, and they will tell them what section, what frame to go to, and where he's located on the wall. And at the vehicle where the vehicle is at, they have displays of different items that are on the gears that they wore in Vietnam, uniform, and different things that the people who visit the wall left mementos that are on the ground here. These were left here today, as you notice on the ground. And people come up and leave it, and they take these back to them to Washington, D.C. and keep them there. So I was here today, and it was nice to see the young children coming up and asking a lot of questions about the wall. And I try to explain it to the best of my ability to them that, and the funny part about it, they asked me if I served in Vietnam, and I did. I served 2 tours in Vietnam, and I was one of the lucky ones to come back. So most of the people are giving they come up to us and say thank you for your service, and it really means a lot. But however, it should have been said a long time ago. And I think there's still a stigma that the Vietnam veterans carry because they didn't get the welcome home that they should have got. But we were the ones without a welcome home, the people from the Iraqi and Iran wars and all that. We were the ones that started it and gave them the applause that they needed. So I think today, the people in the country are focused on the military, people who serve, and give them a good hand coming home and welcoming them home. So I'm pretty proud of that. And there are a lot of Vietnam veterans who are alive today who have different problems from Agent Orange, who are suffering, who are dying from it. And because of the war, they are still suffering. And they're dying of their war wounds. And unfortunately, Vietnam wasn't the only war. I mean, World War II and Korean War had the same problems. But I think Vietnam War was more prevalent than World War II and World War I. And I think today the Iraqi wars and when they had the burn pits, I think a lot of the soldiers coming back today are having problems in that area. As being a veterans officer, I have veterans come in my office to put in for compensation for those. And hopefully, they do get treatment from the VA and the Veterans Administration to be compensated for it and get the health care that they need. So, I think that this is a good symbol, and this is something that the people should see, and hopefully they could come back and take back some memories, and maybe the wall will hear some of the veterans who come and visit the wall, and hopefully we can do it again someday.
Anybody volunteer and put on a pair of gloves, please?
Not everybody. This looks like a great crew. I want to thank everyone for coming out to help us pack everything back in. I know it's a sad day, but we have to move on to the next. The first thing we're going to do today in our disassembly is going to be the most important part of what we do today. And that's going to be taking those panels and hand carrying them back here and getting them securely in the truck. And when we get the first one out, what happens with the second one? Right? Someone's going to hold it. Always, always, always make sure when you lift this up to get this one out, somebody is holding this one because it will fall. Okay?
Benjamin. Yeah. Where are you? No, you're handing off to me.
No, hand it off to us. So just as you see, just grab it and walk.
Thank you.